And we're live, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Mallorie from Quebec Homestead. And today, well, if you clicked on this video, you probably know that we're going to be talking about how it really is to have kids on the homestead and like starting a homestead. So this video will be for you guys that have kids, that maybe want to have kids, grandparents that have kids over at the homestead. It's all going to be geared towards you guys, and we're gonna, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna open up for questions probably every like 10 minutes or so that we can have time to talk and meet our guests that we have, which is Daniel and Rua from Copperhead Road Homestead. And what's really cool and why I wanted to have them on here is because one day I was scrolling along in these live streams, and I came across their channel, and they were talking about how it was with the kids. And I thought they were really down to earth people. I thought that, they reminded me of Ben and I and the way that they were speaking. And so I was like, yeah, I should maybe do a live stream with them. And I actually mentioned them in one of my videos. And when I first started, I think it was this summer, I did a video talking about how our couple was handling, because, having kids sometimes it's not easy. And so we're going to meet them in just a few minutes. Before I do that, I want to say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to, okay, there's 15 people watching. I see Joe and Sue Off Grid, Hickory Craft Farms, Cliff, As If Sab, hello, Marcus, Vintage Vibes, Brigitte, Grace, Food Forest Permaculture, and Alfredo, Mark. Okay, lots of people. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. I know some of you have kids, some of you don't. And thank you for my loyal subscribers for being there, even though you don't. You guys are awesome. And before hopping up, my friends, on the screen, I want to also mention that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, I am premiering a video that is very dear to my heart, which I went sleeping and surviving the night with my horses and my dog in a cold winter night. And I am going to present it in a very cinematic manner. So it's like a little mini movie. So TV watch would be the best. If you're on the rewatch, I am going to link it right here. And yeah, so afterwards, I'm going to have a live stream after party, and I'm going to do something a little special with that stream. So only people that can come into that private live stream are the people that are going to be watching the premiere tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. So on to the live stream. I'm going to hop on Copperhead Road Homestead, Daniel and Rua.
Hey!
Thanks for letting us out of your basement. It's been cold down there. Oh, man.
My stupid thing is muted.
Oh,
all right.
No. It was good that it was music.
You muted us. It was down in that basement, man. It's so cold and unpleasant. Ugh. Oh, man.
I had turned down my stereo, because every time I start a live stream, I always forget to unmute my YouTube side, and then I hear myself talking, and it's never perfect.
I really want to know if I was going to keep my arms crossed, because if I keep my arms crossed, then I'd be saying that I hate everyone. But I don't. I love you.
There you go. All right. So before having them on, I asked Daniel to present his channel in a minute. So I'm going to let Daniel and Rua tell you guys who they are in about a minute, and then we're going to start with the live stream.
All right, well, I'm Rua, and this is Daniel.
No.
This is Rua, and I'm Daniel, and we live in Western Kentucky. That is the United States of America. That's south of Canada. Canada gets the blame for everything that goes wrong in America. There was that old song, Blame Canada, but we don't do that. We like Canada very much. But we live here in Western Kentucky, and we live on about 150 acres. We have 4 children. The oldest is 9. The youngest is 4, 3 boys and a girl. And we're kind of just getting started in some ways. We have a lot of going on, but we're pretty much noobs at a lot of things. So we're figuring it out. So our videos are kind of geared toward figuring those things out and, just showing you the process. But my parents live on the farm with us. We've owned this property. It's been in my family for 100 years. I wasn't raised on this property, It was kind of raw when we moved to it, but
Really
you know,
rolling.
we're just figuring things out and having a great time with it, and you know, just trying to share those things with you all. And if you subscribe to our channel, then you'll see just everything that we're doing and just having a good time with it. Mainly me, but you know, Rua
I
is
make
in
an
there.
appearance
You know,
every once in a while.
Rua's
There
a
you go.
registered nurse, so she works 3 days a week, and she takes care of a lot of things around here, including with our kids. But I take care of a lot of the farm stuff, and that's what most of our videos are about.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I met them through through YouTube. Last year they're going to be on their 1 year mark, and they were busting out one video a day. So like, of course that like for me is flashing lights like, oh my gosh, they're putting so much work into their stuff. And so that's how I met them. And one reason why I wanted to have them on here is because they have a handful of kids. They are in a different climate than I am. They are in Kentucky and I am in the cold Quebec, and they homeschool their kids and I don't. And so I thought that was really cool to have like those two worlds collided into one live stream and to be able to talk about it, because there is no like correct way. The right way to raise your kids is your way, right?
Agreed.
And what works
Our
best
way.
for you.
No.
Yeah. So it's that's like something that new parents or people that are thinking of having kids needs to know. And like in the people in the chat, if ever somebody is in here and they're asking a question and you know the answer to their question, go ahead and answer and interact with each other, because we're going to be opening up the questions in about 10 minutes for you that maybe do have questions. So first off, I want to know, Daniel and Rua, what are some upsides and some downsides of homeschooling for you?
Well, I really feel like that we love our children, and since we homeschool them, we get to spend a lot of time with them. They drive us crazy, you know, because you spend more time with someone, they start driving you crazy. Right now, I don't know if you hear, but they're kind of squealing back there in their bedroom, playing with each other, you know, doing what children do. But we get to be with them all the time, and that's just a huge blessing for us, you know.
Yeah.
They get to learn from us with it as well.
I think for me, like I love just really, I started out like a very standard curriculum. It's called Sunlight curriculum. Not really recommending it to anyone. I'm just saying that's what I started out with. And I've kind of just trailed off into my own thing. I can remember thinking when I met another woman several years ago, and she said, I kind of just throw my stuff together and put my own stuff together. And I thought, what crazy person does that? And I thought, now I'm that crazy person that kind of just sees where their kid's at and picks the books that they want. You know, a lot of things I do are like games and stuff like that.
Well, one of the good things about it too is in a lot of public schools, you know, not trying to, you know, downplay them, but in a lot of public schools, there's lots of children, and we get to have a lot of individual attention for our kids all the time.
That's right.
So, you know, we really appreciate that and love that.
I appreciate getting to spend time with them. I love spending time with them. Earlier this week, me and Maya, we made like some homemade lip gloss. And so we both enjoyed doing that. We made banana bread today, in addition to me reading and doing other stuff with them. But I totally agree with you that there is no right or wrong way to do it. Like you have to find what works best for you and your family. Like I can't express that anymore. I don't know if you remember like I don't know, since we're like in a different country or whatever, but there was like this Facebook then do you remember that it was like the breastfeeding mom and the you know talking about
mom
guilt thing, and it's and I just feel like breastfeed, don't breastfeed, you know, homeschool, public school. Like there's a channel that I really like, and she actually hires out her kids' teacher and they come to the house. So just like whatever works for you.
Yeah, so definitely a whole bunch of different ways. And like I send my kids to school personally because I'm a very social person, and my kids are as well, and they love to have more friends, you know. And I don't think I have that strand in me to like sit down and teach my kids, you know, stuff. And I just don't have that. I'm not a very like I'm a go get my hands dirty type of girl, and I show my kids that on the farm, which is cool. But like to teach them math and stuff like that, I just couldn't do it, honestly. And Ben, you know, most of you guys know that Ben is retired military. He got medically released, so his bag is killing him. So for him, having the kids at home, one of the hardest things that he finds is he doesn't have any time to rest, because when the kids are at home, he cannot rest. Even though he's like, okay, I'm going to go sleep upstairs, you know, the kids, they still demand attention. They still like want to see dad, you know? So that's one thing that he finds really hard having them here.
And for us, you know, we've been very lucky in a lot of ways, you know, financially, and, you know, we've said no to a lot of things. We've made some good choices. You know, some of that's luck and some of that's, you know, good choices that we've made. So we can afford to, you know, only one of us, you know, work full time outside the home and one of us stay with the kids all the time. Some of us, you know, some people can't. And we totally get that, you know, almost requires 2 incomes in order to take care of your family. So if you're both working outside the home, then you almost have to send your kids to school. So, you know, we understand that, and you've got to do what's right for you. No mom, dad guilt, parent guilt, or anything like that.
Yeah. So. And on social media, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, you know, pressure for young parents that like, they're like, oh, am I doing this right? And so they'll go ask a question on a Facebook group or something. And then they'll get all these comments of like, things like, you do it this way, and they get so mixed up. So, you know, just trust your gut, guys, and just do what feels good for you.
So I think that if you're worried about that, then that's a good sign that you are a good parent. You know, if you're worried about being a good parent, then you probably are a good parent.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I doing this right? Well, then you're okay. You know,
very good
people
point.
Who don't care at all, like, you know, screw the kids, you know, screw the world kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, very good point.
But if you're worried about it, then, you know, just do what feels right. Like you said, follow your guts.
Exactly. All right. So what is for you a downside of homeschooling?
Well, you know, the downside, I think, for homeschooling and the kids not going to public school in a lot of ways is that I've got to pay attention to them instead of doing the work on the farm and on my side gigs and the hustles and the work and stuff like that. I could make a whole lot more money, and, you know, if I didn't have the kids at home, to be honest with you, because, you know, and get a lot more things done. Our house is not finished. We're working on our house. You know, our farm is slow going, and homesteading is slow going anyway, you know. And now it's even slower going because kids, like Rue was saying before we started, they get in your stuff and they break it and they lose things. I don't know where my tools are. They, you know, they break, you know, my plants. They've killed animals on accident, you know. Like Ben, my oldest son named Ben, you know, he was playing with a goose one day and he tossed it up in the air, you know, thinking it could fly. You know, it's a baby gosling, and it died, you know.
Oh, no.
It's a good teaching moment, though. You know, so he's not ever going to do that again. But on the other hand, you know, that baby goose that I had to pay money for and raise, dead. You know, so it definitely costs us time and money having to get it home.
I agree. Dale said something. He said, just remember this, until you have raised kids, you don't know how. I agree. And I'm not even sure after you've raised kids that you really know how, just because, you know, I agree, Dale. Yeah. I mean, every kid's different. And so you can't really, all 4 of these kids are different. So I can't really say what so-and-so should do. It's really different.
And every situation is different too, because you know, in California, when we lived there, we lived on a city lot, you know, little house, little place. It's way different raising your kids there than it is on our 150-acre farm with my parents just up the road. If I need a break, if I need a nap, then, you know, because I didn't sleep well, because I was sick, whatever, you know, send them up to Nan and Papa's. And we have a friend who lives on the farm with us too, that rents a little place from us. And, you know, he's like my brother now, and he'll do it too, you know. So I've got a community here that really helps.
That's so important. That is like one of the most important things that I would say, like, for people, like, I know there's a lot of single parents as well, you know, out there that are wanting to homestead, and, you know, or they have kids, and it's, you know, having that community is just like a safety net, you know. And like, even if, like, I know a few people that are separated and they are single parenting, but they still have a really good relationship with the grandparents on the other side. And I think that's, you know, it's important to, like, you know, to suck it up a little bit, like sometimes just to have that relationship and to have that community to to rely on for when you need it, because you do need that. I have like amazing neighbors.
Oh, you got to swallow your pride sometimes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Unless it's unsafe, of course, like, don't send your kids to somewhere where it's unsafe and you know it. But I mean,
well, and some of that stuff's debatable too. Like, I let my kids do some things sometimes. My 9-year-old was using a chainsaw the other day. He was supervised, but some people would say using a chainsaw, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And all these things. So, you love your kids. If you love your kids, then you'll probably end up doing right by them. That's the most important thing. And that's what we want to give, even more than the education of teaching math and reading, writing, arithmetic. More important than that is loving them and letting them have their childhood. I agree. Because if all kids could have that childhood, that's where we stand. If all kids could have that childhood, then the world would be a better place.
I like what was it? Thor Haven Farm. I raised 4 kids, but then I had to get them to leave the house, so I moved to Quebec.
Oh, Darren.
Quebec. Sorry.
Get it right.
Quebec.
Yeah, I just before going on a little further, I just want to say hi to everybody that dropped in. I see CGM Farm. I see Morgan from Goldshaw Farm. I see Karen from the Busy Little House. There's a few people from Quebec. Karen, Darren, and there's a few people from Quebec in here that I'm happy.
Vintage Vibes is one of our subscribers. Where are you from, Joe? I forget exactly. She's from Canada too, I think.
Really cool.
Exactly where.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. That's one thing. Teaching great values on the farm, which comes to another point that I had. There's another, like, I wanted to know what was the upside of having kids on the farm for you and the downside, because Ben answered these questions a little earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what he said, because I thought I could get his input in here too. So I asked him, what is something that you absolutely love about having the kids at the farm, young kids, right? And he said, learning real life values, responsibility, hard work, and knowing where food comes from, like the real life of where, the animals have to die to feed us,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like one of the things that he absolutely loves that we're teaching our kids. And, because I was raised that way. Is there a kiddo coming?
There's a kid in the hallway.
No.
So we put our kids to bed at 6:30 our time. That's 7:30 for you all.
So they could just hang out.
Canada. But that was 2 hours ago. But they're just waiting, because they want to be a part of everything. But yeah, we agree totally about our kids getting to experience these things. That's so important. That's what we love too.
What was
his downside?
His downside
was that exactly, like, he has a hard time getting work done because everything is longer. He cannot find time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the hardest things for us is that, we operate heavy machinery. We have the excavator, the tractor, the skidder, and we're really productive and we're at our best when we work together. Right. So we're like one of those couples that, like, when we're in the house and, like, we don't have many things in common except for, like, the farm. Like, honest, we don't watch the same things. We don't have those things. We connect on different levels, and getting stuff done is like what we really are passionate about, and seeing the things progress and being comfortable in our, in what we built. And so it's sort of different. Like, and since everything slowed down for us on that side, we're struggling a little bit more. And so we have to figure out ways to get stuff done, even though we have the kids. And so that's the downside.
I think that's, what Ben was saying too. I think that's definitely the downside for me, is like, I want to do some of these big projects, but I want to do homeschool. I still have other stuff like cooking and cleaning. I still have other stuff to do. And so my projects go so slow. Yeah. And so I just have to really work on being patient.
And, we're the same, because we have different, things that we value. Like, whenever she gets home, the house isn't as tidy as she wants it to be. I try to tidy it every time that she's gone. So, she gets home, there is no dishes in the sink most of the time, but she wants to do a deep cleaning when she gets home nearly every time, because she wants the house tidy. I'm like, I don't care. It's just going to get dirty again.
Yeah.
And I want to work outside and in the high tunnel and on the, farm with the animals, and I got to go cut some firewood, because we're heating with wood now. I got to do all these things. And, you know, she's like, I don't care anything about that, you know. So she's doing this and I'm doing that. And, you know, it's just, but they get to see that interaction with us. Since they're at home all the time, they get to see us in what that, so maybe they can have a better, you know, we have all this family of origin, you know, problems because, you know, I love my parents and, you know, love her family too, but, you know, we weren't prepared quite as well for marriage and for kids as we would like to. And maybe our kids will be more prepared for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good, and it's good to show the kids like the conflict and the like getting, you know, reconciliation, because you know I know so many parents hide that from their kids.
Well, you know, Rua's wrong sometimes, and I'm never wrong. So you know, they need to see how she accepts being wrong and how I accept being right. Very important.
I think all couples have that problem.
You know.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think it's good to show your kids those true values, you know, because once they'll become adults and in the dating world, you know, they need to know what's real and what's not. You
well,
know?
Here's the thing, you know, some of the things that I learned in school. I mean, I remember learning all of these facts, and very few of them do I ever use. You know, I learned some of these things in mathematics. I learned the quadratic formula, and I learned that, you know, this, and I learned that. You know, I don't use any of that stuff anymore, but they're going to learn, you know, real stuff. And then also I can teach them how to find the answer to things when they need that, you know,
the tools. Yeah.
So they can get the things that they really need, that I want them to learn here, and see some of these other things as well, our relationship, and, you know, the getting, you know, the fussing and the, you know, reconciliation as well.
Yeah.
Kids will know if you're lying to them. They will not tell you, but they will know.
Yeah, they're smart. They're smart cookies.
My kids are pretty dumb. I can lie to them pretty well.
What?
About all sorts of things. I told them that I was the smartest man alive, and there's a couple that are smarter than me. They believe me.
You know that brings me to something that I completely forgot to do, but I wanted to do a little message to my kids that are watching in the future, since, you know, we are talking about, you know, how hard it is and everything, but I just want to tell my kids, Ariel and Jude, if you're watching this later on and you guys are parents, I love you no matter what I say here. Okay. Like, you guys are the best little kids, and it's not easy. This has been a really rough year, but I love you to pieces. And yeah, I hope you had a nice childhood.
Okay, now
I hope I offered one for you.
Benjamin, Maya, Solomon, Abraham. I told you to go to bed 2 hours ago. Why won't you listen to me? I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to beat down the door and make all sorts of racket, lose all your tools, and you'll know what it's like, man.
I'm going to give a whole bunch of candy to your kids. Like seriously, like.
And you'll know what it's like. Seriously, though, we're going to go to their house and make a wreck of it. Flush things down the toilet that don't belong there, and, you know, put them down the sink. I've got to do so much plumbing and stuff all the time because they mess it up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, boy.
It's mainly just the little guy. He's a little destructive little spitfire.
Oh man, he destroys so many things.
He's not as bad as he used to be. We're like, no, don't do that.
So she got some coffee something one day in the mail.
Oh no.
She got some coffee something in the mail that she was really excited about. This is going to help her get through the day. She does little things to help her get through her day at work. And, you know, she got this stuff, and it came in the mail, and I told her it was here. She said, open it. I'm like, I don't want to open it, because I knew what these kids do. And then they poured water in it and ruined it. It was like a $50, $75 thing.
It was really expensive.
Oh,
it was, I can't even remember what that's called.
Mojo Coffee.
I remember you talking about that on the live stream.
Oh man, I wanted to, you know, well, I just let it go, but she wanted to chop him, and therefore, since she was angry, when Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, I wanted to chop him, you know.
Yeah.
But
the busy little house. I hated my routine with public schooling. The kids and I found that I was spending too much time finishing up evening homework at night. Yeah, I wouldn't like that if there was a lot of homework. At night.
Well, I don't know if a lot of people do homework as much anymore, because there's a whole lot of theories about homework not being helpful. I don't think as many teachers assign as much homework.
Do your kids have a lot of homework?
No, she's in kindergarten, so she's got little like tiny activities. You know, she's got like little papers saying. Okay, you have to play the game 7 Up. You know, you have to play tic-tac-toe. You have to like little learn the alphabet, learn your phone number.
I love that stuff. That's fun.
Drops Family Garden. That's one of the things that that I don't want to do really, because we care about what we feed our kids. And that's one of the things that's irritated us in the past sometimes whenever, Nana and Papa have fed them things that we don't want to, but
if you could make like cookies with them but I think too, you have to realize like they just live right up the road. So I think there's a little difference.
So it might sound like, whenever I say this about Nana and Papa, they do some things that I'm really irritated with them all the time. I'm not. I really appreciate my parents very much, and I appreciate what they do for our kids and the community and all this stuff. But that doesn't mean, they're right up the road. I see them almost every day. And when you see people more often, you get more annoyed with them, So I get annoyed with some of the things that they do. So,
I think we all get annoyed with our parents with some things that they do.
But I love them. I'm deeply appreciative for the way I was raised and for my parents and stuff like that.
I'm not appreciative of the way I was raised.
Even though I've got some problems, because of those things. But I guess I'm going to give my kids all sorts of problems too with some.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly it. It's like we all have our baggage. We all have our ways. We can't just give them the only good parts of ourselves. We give them also some of the bad parts of ourselves. Yeah. And that's.
So I like to try to think, and pick and choose. I've done, I've preached before. I was a preacher, full-time preacher, and I've done marriage counseling. I told people what they do is pick and choose the best things. They pick and choose when it comes to rearing their kids. And I like to do that for my parents too. Here's something I love about my mom, and here's something I love about my dad. Here's something I hate about my mom, and here's something I hate about my dad. I'll pick the things that I love and try to input that in my own personality kind of
thing.
Drops Family Garden again. My parents were married 66 years. They were the best parents anyone could ask for. I hope my kids say that too, that, she tried. She tried.
Yeah, she tried.
She was tired, but she
but
tried.
I mean, we yell at our kids sometimes too because we get frustrated and we try not to, and we feel guilty about it afterward, and we apologize and say, Daddy shouldn't have yelled. Daddy shouldn't have done that. Rua more often than I am because I'm nearly perfect.
Do you hear this person over here?
I'm very close to it.
That's funny. How long have you guys been married?
How long?
Or together mostly?
16 years in June.
We got married June 2005, and our first date was the first Saturday in May of 2003. I was on a date with someone else, and she was on a date with someone else. We both kind of went as friends with these other people, and it was like a group date kind of thing. And I asked her out afterward, and then our first date the next Saturday, we went to play tennis, and we went to yard sales. Do y'all have those in Quebec? Yard sales?
Well, yeah. Well, people that there's table sales or garage sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have those.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. It's Canada.
We have pretty much everything you have, except for we have more snow.
Except for as many guns and stuff.
Oh yeah, well definitely.
Just kidding. Anyway, we went to yard sales, and then we went to drive-in, burger joints and stuff like that. But yeah, I love garage sales too. But anyway, that was our first date, and she couldn't get enough of me, and here we
have that's hilarious. We have pretty much everything. Except I feel like y'all might be more cultural. What is that word? Like cultural? I don't know, because you know 2 languages. Does everyone know 2 languages up there? Or most people?
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. But like I live out in like the boonies, like my mom likes to call it. And so over here, there's not many people that understand English. Like there's somebody in the chat, actually, Rosalie in here, that she's doing subtitles for my videos right now. She's doing it in French so that I can have them like translated. And she's really good in English, but she like would contact me saying, okay, what word did you say in this one? What word did you say for that? So, so a lot of people get along really well with their English. It's just over here, more in the boonies. We're a little further away from the city. They mostly speak French here.
Okay,
that's cool.
So I guess we can open up for a few questions in the chat. I think I saw one right here actually from Morgan. Here's a Canada question. I was wondering the other day, what do you call dimensional lumber? Like, what's the Canadian equivalent of a 2x4? Royal with cheese? Uh,
Royale.
I have no idea.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with
Wouldn't you
cheese.
do it in centimeters instead of 2 by 4 inches?
we just have everything in inches here.
Really?
Yeah, for lumber, we just totally say 2x4.
Here, I thought y'all were better than us.
Well, we have a lot of things in the metrics, but like when we're measuring, all our measuring tapes have millimeters on them.
Yeah.
And I think it's much easier and more precise sometimes to measure in millimeters, because in my job I was an appraiser and I would do inspections on big commercial, industrial, and all those buildings, and it was much easier for me to quantify in money, like the distances in millimeters, to calculate it all, because calculating fractions is a lot harder to quantify in money.
I want the 1 5/16 board.
I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. Hey, there was a question, or not a question, but there was can you go back up?
Yeah, I can go up.
It was Jason
Avers. I was a Homestead kid. If you aren't homeschooling, let me tell you, the stress from not being able to relate with the other school kids can be rough.
I hear what you're saying with that, and I don't know you, so I have no idea. But I know that I went to.
You don't know Jason?
No, I know that I went to public.
He's a
school.
great guy.
Would you stop? I went to public school, and I had such a hard time and trying to overcome my own childhood and become a woman of my own. I feel like, man, that was pretty rough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's pretty rough too. I now work in the intensive care unit with like a bunch of different women, some men, and they're all different ages. So I don't know.
So people say that homeschool kids are weird and, antisocial, or what?
My kids are pretty friendly.
Not antisocial. Yeah. What's the word? Just weird. They say they're weird, but there's a lot of homeschool kids who are, not homeschool, public school kids who are weird too.
All weird.
And eat their boogers, do all sorts of stuff, in front of everyone.
And at the end of the day,
not so.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it depends who's raising them, So, I mean, it's not necessarily the school system that will mold your child in the 0 to 5 years old, like even before going into the public school, they already have their own little personalities and their characters, and then it's pretty deep in there already. And like I see my daughter, she's 4, she's going on 5 like really soon, and she's gonna be a handful. And no matter if she'd be homeschool or public school, like I know she's gonna be a handful.
So here's one of the problems that I've got with public school, for my kids is, there's some people like there's a YouTuber, and he's a content creator called JP Sears, who says embrace your weird. You know who JP Sears is? He's this orange-haired guy, anyway, just embrace your weird kind of thing. And what I'm afraid of is that it goes on in public school sometimes, and not public school, but amongst friends, when you've got all sorts of friends and stuff like that, is that people shame you into conforming. Maya would draw something. She likes to draw, and she would draw something, and they would, berate her and shame her or something like that about something. And then she wouldn't be herself as much anymore and do that. And here, the only way she gets that is if I do it. So I have to bully my kids a little bit so they know what it's like to be bullied,
Yeah.
Just picking her up.
Otherwise they wouldn't have it, but I want them to be themselves, and I don't want them to be shamed into something else.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Happen, elsewhere too.
I feel like that's anywhere you're going to go there. I mean, I felt at work sometimes like there's, a clique or there's something. I don't care about that stuff anymore.
I changed schools so many times because my parents moved a lot. Like I told you, I started in San Diego. I moved to Vancouver in British Columbia. So I went to elementary school there, in French school. And then in 3rd grade, I moved here in Quebec, in the boonies, where there's a heavy accent. And I didn't understand one word of what they were saying, even though I spoke French. So the accent was so different. And they wanted me to retake my 3rd year. Mm-hmm. And my grade 3, and my dad said no. I'm not going to have her take it. So, and he probably should have, because now my French sort of sucks. But he sent me to English school, which was really far away. I had to drive 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night in a minivan to get to school.
Oh,
and
wow.
I couldn't stay after school to have like to play sports, and I'm a very sports like a sporty girl. Like I love playing soccer, I love a lot of sports. I'm very active. And so me not being able to stay after school to have friends, I'm a very social person.
Mhm.
That was really really hard. So for me, I wanted my kids to have like, local friends.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much like why I have my kids not in an English school. For one, they're in French school here, and they're nearby. So
I think that's really cool because you took your childhood just like I'm taking my child, our childhood and stuff
yeah,
like that, and trying to do that where you saw, hey, I want to be stable, I want to be here I am, and I'm stable, and you can have your friends and you can have your sports if you want that or whatever else your
yeah,
kids do, and so I think that's pretty cool
yeah,
that it's a
yeah.
long school.
And we try. I think I hope, anyways, that we try to better our situations and like the way that we were raised, and we try to do it better than our parents do. But I mean, we're trying. That's the only thing that we can try. We can do is we try.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you end up being like your parents a little bit because that's what you always default to.
I'm
You
yeah,
know.
there's
Uh,
one controversial thing that a lot of parents, like the spanking and all that stuff. Like I was spanked when I was a kid, but we broke the cycle. We have not spanked our children once, and that's something that we're really proud of. I punch my hand in the wall once? Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I definitely did. But I
So
have never spanked my kids, and that's one thing that I'm happy that I broke the cycle of.
So we used to spank all the time. I spanked too much. And
Yeah.
then I realized, like this isn't good. So
Yeah.
now, we don't do it,
Yeah.
but I mean, that was my default. And that's where,
right.
what, our the people in our faith, kind of suggested to us, things that we read religiously and stuff like that. You've got to have control and discipline. And they've got
Yeah.
to do these things. But now I'm like, no. What they need more than this is just unconditional love.
Yes.
And that's what we try to offer our kids. And it's hard sometimes because when they break something that's expensive, or they hurt,
It
each
hurts. Yeah.
other, or they hurt an animal in an accident, and our oldest boy, he's like I said, I mentioned that goose that he accidentally killed. He is so tender-hearted. He don't want, to hurt anybody at all. And if he thinks he has, then, he just tears,
He's got a lot of empathy.
yeah, but we have spanked, but we're trying to break that cycle too, and we kind of have done it now.
Yeah, I mean, they get to a point where they understand, but like it's like my youngest, she's, like I said, she's a handful, and she hurts her sister, and she's really strong. Like she's like a little bomb. She's like me. She's like really muscular, and like she's as big as her sister. They're only 14 months apart, so they're pretty much like twins at this point. And she weighs more than my older girl, and so she's got the the edge on her older sister. And so I'm like, sometimes, sometimes I'm like, Ben, I swear I'm gonna spank her. Like I can't stand this. She's hurting her sister all the time. And it's getting better. She's understanding more. And I keep on repeating myself. She's only 4 years old.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
Only 4 years old. Like,
did you have any siblings?
Yeah. Well, yes, but I'm the baby. So like
So Rua doesn't. She's an only child. I'm the youngest of my siblings. I'm the youngest of my siblings, but she don't understand. I'm like, well, kids wrestle and play and they do all this stuff, and she didn't get that very well. So I try to tell them don't hurt each other, and most of the time they don't. But Solomon, he had a broken leg once because he got shoved off a pool ladder from our oldest boy. And
he didn't get shoved off. The oldest boy fell on top of him.
And our youngest, he just broke his clavicle like a month or two ago. Because I'm not sure if another child pushed him off, but the bed or what. But we weren't back there when that happened. But it happens. They get hurt.
Can I tell you the real story?
No, you cannot.
Good one.
This is what it's like to homestead with kids. They come out, and they stop you from doing it.
This is what it's like from YouTubing with kids too. I cannot, for the love of me, do a live stream if my kids are there, because they will be fully clothed 1 minute and fully butt naked the other. And like if they come in back of this camera, I'm like
Get out of here.
Like, seriously, it's happened to me once on a live stream, and I was like, are you kidding me? I was so shy.
Hickory Croft Farm had a question. Do either channel find it difficult to get their kids to participate in homesteading activities? And if so, how do you encourage it?
I feel like it's difficult sometimes to do the homeschooling activities, the homesteading activities, the everyday activities. These people, you really have to be like, no, this is what we have to do, and offer behavior rewards to do stuff.
To get them to do anything.
Yeah.
The best way that we found to get them to do some things is just you do it. And then sometimes they'll follow. Like they'll clean the house, want to clean the house if we're working on cleaning the house and organizing and stuff like that. But sometimes it isn't. Like I went to cut firewood yesterday and Ben didn't want to go. But one of the ways that he did is I let him drive the little, side-by-side some. And he felt like, okay, now I want to go because I'm getting to help him do a little bit,
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good it's a good trick. And they lead by example a lot, but like different kids have their different personalities too. Like my older daughter, she has a hard time. I have to kick her in the a lot. And because she just wants to watch YouTube and she just wants to watch TV and just, watch her little things. And if I tell her that I'm going to film her doing her Barbie stuff as a reward, like she'll get up and she'll get dressed. And over here it sucks because we're in Canada. We have to wear all our suit, all everything. And that's one of the things that I have a hard time with the kids is to like have that the energy to get them all dressed and to get all the layers on them, because it's you got to get socks, you got to put the boots, you got to put the pants, you got to put the shirt underneath the coat, and then with the thing to hide your neck, and then the hat, and then you go outside for 5 minutes and one's like, I need to go pee.
Oh no.
For real. Yeah.
And you're like,
our kids will run barefoot outside when it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees outside. That's the lowest it's gotten. It's gotten like in the 10s, 15s here, a couple of times so far this year. But they'll go up to the pond, which is a little less than a quarter mile away to where Nan and Papa live, and they'll have no shoes on. And Nan and Papa will chastise them and say, no, you can't have anything to eat. You can't do anything here. You can't stay because you don't have shoes on. It's wintertime. You're supposed to wear shoes. In the summertime, they don't ever, but
we encourage them to wear shoes and jackets,
and clothes.
But we don't make them, actually. I don't make them. If they want to go outside, nearly butt naked in the wintertime, then okay, whatever. You'll get cold
and come back
quick,
in.
But that's how they learn, in my opinion, in some way. Like, okay, this is a choice. This is your consequence. You chose to come out butt naked when it's 20 degrees outside. So you're gonna be cold.
Giving them the option to choose for themselves is a great learning tool for me, I found. But I have like a younger daughter, the one that's a handful, Jude, right? She like loves to work on the homestead. Like she literally will be like, Mom, let's go feed the animals. Mom, I'm like, we already fed them. She's like, I want to go back outside. And she's like the outdoors little girl. And like we'll be building something. And I think I have a memory of when I was changing out the plastic of my little greenhouse up here, and it was winter time, and we had like a really bad wind. It all busted, so we had to change it up. We had to get a little bit of lumber, and so we got this snowmobile and we brought it in front, and I turned around and my daughter had brought a huge piece of wood. She was like not even 2 years old, from the snow machine in the deep snow all the way to the greenhouse. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? You did that? Like, she's so strong.
Yeah.
And so like I have one that's really, really easy to encourage, but like don't ask her to clean. And then I have one that's like all about YouTube, and she loves to clean. So they're so different. It's so hard to be creative and find ways to like be okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking of allowances, but I don't know.
I feel like I've tried the allowance thing, and that doesn't work for me right now. I don't know if we're meeting most of their needs, so they don't,
Part of it is the reason that money doesn't work to motivate our kids is because they don't have anything that they can spend their money on and don't have any needs. We take care of the things that they need.
Like most of the time, unless it's something ridiculous. I mean, I'm like, I'm not going to get that. But I mean, like as far as food, art supplies, like stuff like that we usually do.
Did we miss a couple things? Jason Aver said, looking at humans as agents in a complex adaptive system, do as I say or I will hurt you. has been the base code for social interactions for a long time, but it's programmed behavior set.
I agree. That has been a
yeah.
And correcting with violence is not. It's just only showing that the strongest wins. You know,
yeah, we
it's
don't like to be violent with it.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I have worked really hard on my temper. Like I said, I won't get into my own personal thing, but like I grew up in a kind of a whatever that word is.
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous environment. And so for me, I just really have had to read so many self-help books and had to really work on myself to be the parent I need to be.
That's good. It's so hard to like self treat yourself, you know, and change yourself. That's
self-parent yourself while trying to parent.
Just a couple under that by Hickory Craft Farm says, we always worry that they are doing it just because we are, not because they enjoy it. And I think that is a genuine concern in some ways, Hickory Craft, you know, but, you know, I think that, you know, we have to encourage them to learn some real skills, but on the other hand, you know, this is just what we do because we chose to live here on a farm. If we live on a farm, so we threaten this sometimes. Okay, you don't want to do this. We threaten. Okay, we'll move back to the city. We'll move over here, kind of thing. And you know, they're like, no, we don't want to do that. You know, but you know, we never do that. Like this is what we chose to do. You know.
There's a question in here from Karen from the Busy Little House. But before asking that question, I wanted to say hello to Up North of 60 and Trail Trash Outdoors that got in here. Trail Trash Outdoors, they're in Florida and they're cleaning up the rivers on the Santa Fe River, and it's amazing what they're doing.
Nice.
Just wanted to do like a little shout out for them. And so I have Karen that asked, how long have you guys been homesteading?
Yeah, we've been here for 4 years. You know, homesteading is kind of one of those things that it's hard to define how long you've been doing, you know, this. It's kind of a can-do attitude and stuff. And we started that before we moved to California. That was 10, 11 years ago. What's this? From watching y'all's kids, y'all living the best life. That's nice. But, you know, we've been here 4 years and been serious about it probably last, 2 or 3 of those 4 years. You know.
I agree. Just slow. It's
slow. When we moved here, we didn't know what to,
we didn't know what to do.
We were so overwhelmed, you know.
And then our kids were so very little.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Joe Vintage Vibe says,
it's a credit to yourself that you recognize you needed to change your approach.
I'm a big self-improver, so
read lots of self-help books and stuff like that.
Still reading.
I think we constantly have to work on ourselves because we're constantly evolving. You know. So we're talking about the homestead, that you guys were not raised on a homestead. You're just starting and learning from scratch and stuff. And I think that's really awesome that you're doing that. And I just did that greenhouse. I think you recently got that up there, didn't you?
Yeah, that high tunnel we got, what was it, like August of last year? You know, it was a grant from our government that we got it from, but you know, we have to pay taxes on it. I didn't know that at the time. but just the same, you know, it's really nice, and you know, but we just got that. And my parents, before we moved here, they had chickens and goats and all this stuff, but they didn't have that when I was growing up. That started, probably about 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
No, 12 or so. Before we moved to California, 12 or 13 years ago, I bought my mom a goat for Mother's Day.
It was before we moved,
And I did it to kind of be funny and to tell the story that one day I got my mom a goat for Mother's Day, you know, because I thought that'd be a hilarious story. In high school, I was on the chess club. Not because I ever wanted to do chess, but because I thought it'd be a funny story to say I was on the chess club, you know.
I feel like smart people play chess.
But I bought that for her, and then the next year I bought her a sheep for Mother's Day, and the next year after that I bought her a donkey for Christmas. You know, and then after that they got chickens and they got all this stuff, and you know, so they helped us be able to do the homesteading thing when we got here.
That's so cool.
We didn't grow up that way. I didn't, and Rua definitely did. You know, but
that's cool. I grew up on a homestead. Like when I moved here, we moved on a homestead. It was 7 acres. It was really small, but we had a whole bunch of things. My dad was he's always been like an entrepreneur, and he had pigs, cows. We had horses. We had chickens. We had turkeys. There was an orchard, and my mom had a greenhouse with big gardens. So like we literally,
That's
um,
cute.
yeah, we're raised on that. So ever since I was 8 years old, and they sold that place a few years back, and I was really sad because I really wanted to buy that property. It was like a place. It was such a gorgeous place, and they put so much work into it. And so that's pretty much what we wanted to do with our kids too. You know, is like, okay, we're gonna buy this place and we're gonna build it. So we built one in 2014. We had just gotten done at another place near the military base where Ben worked. And like from the ground up, we lived in a trailer with no electricity, no running water for 6 months until we were done the house and the barn. And to move 3 years later with young children to start up all over again.
Oh,
And let me tell you, it's so much easier to start a homestead when you don't have kids.
And we don't have any experience with that.
Oh
So
my gosh. So like if I have any advice for anybody that's wanting to start a homestead that don't have kids yet, I mean, it's awesome having kids. Like I would,
yeah, we love our
totally like I'd totally do it again. But like if I would have just done my renos first and just like done it all before having them, it would have been so much easier.
yeah. I agree. I think it would have been easier without the kids, but they always, one of the good things about the kids is I always have company. I'm never lonely at all, because I always have the kids with me.
Yeah.
Family and all that stuff here. We got this community, but I think it would have been a whole lot easier. We'd be a whole lot further along. But
Yeah.
it takes time to do things on the homestead. You've got to plant your fruit trees the way we're doing it, permaculture as much as we can. Planting fruit trees, those don't yield at first. Some things just take a long time to get going, and it takes even longer with kids, but that's okay. I love them very much, but it's really hard. But this property has been in our family. So we have 70 acres here that's been in my family for 100 years. And we just bought 80 acres next to us that was in my family, but like my great great uncle or something like that, he died and it got out of the family. We bought it back, but we have money in the game with that over there. Yeah. And this over here was ours. But my parents always wanted to move over here, but they never did. And we did. We were the first one to move over here, and it's been really wonderful. So that's always been our dream. So that property you were talking about, that 7 acres, that was kind of nostalgic for you, and you wanted. That's this property that we're on now. That's nostalgic. They always dreamed of moving here and building a house over here. And finally, we did it. And then after we did it, we went halves on the well. We went halves. We did some stuff together with the the electric service. Yeah. Now, they're over here too. So we help make their dream come true of coming over here.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I love that you're doing that with your parents. So let's see. I think that's probably Serena and Ian or Ian, but hi.
Hey guys.
Ian in here. Man, cool crowd tonight. There's a whole bunch of cool people.
Of course. Mallorie, Rua, and me, and you. Yeah. I mean, that's what we attract. Like, cool people.
All three of us there.
Oh, there's Jackson.
Hey.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm really happy to have had you guys on. We have about 8 minutes left for the live stream. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, still go ahead. This has been an awesome chat. I really love you guys. You guys are awesome.
To answer your question, we are always this cool.
Oh, brother, you're irritating me now with all this crap.
His thumbnails are really, really easy to spot. He's always got his big face right up in the thumbnail with the funny face.
He does. There you go. I think he's got a couple comments on that before.
Why is your ugly face always in the thumbnail?
I know, he's got that one before.
Somebody said in one of the comments, oh, it's so hilarious. What did they say? They said, do you ever get anything done on the homestead? It looks like you eat well.
It was pretty great. It was like, do you ever finish a project?
Do you ever finish a progress?
You got a bunch of half-finished projects. Do you ever finish a project?
It looks like you eat well.
And it looks like, but you eat well.
And then we had a pig castrating video. It was one of our big videos. And people get all sorts of comments about how horrible and cruel we are with that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I get so many comments of me not blanketing my horses, and hence that's why I slept outside with my horses as well at -20 because I was like, I gotta teach people, like, people do not know. And like I wrote a message to Morgan this morning because I get all these comments about my dog as well and my animals. And I'm like, Morgan must get that all the time because Toby dog sleeps outside.
Right. Pyrenees love it, the snow.
I know they love it, and so he said, like dealing with criticism on social media is like become a superpower. Just she sort of just brush it off.
Oh yeah, I love it actually. It brings me so much amusement when people say these things. They
It
say,
is funny. There's just one thing that gets to me though. One thing that gets to me is if they go ahead and attack my children in the comments, which has happened in the past. That gets to me.
Yeah.
Mama Bear gets mad, like gets
Brew is like that.
off, like
Brew is like that. We were in a live stream the other night, and somebody asked a very personal question about
That's
our
a
kids.
weird question.
And then we were having a good time. We were laughing. We were just having a great time. And then all of a sudden, her demeanor, you can see, just boom. She's like, So.
Oh yeah.
No, it sounds like we're both like, okay, you want to fight? I'll fight you over my kids.
I tell Rua, just ignore it. Just
ignore
because we had a moderator that took care of it and put them in timeout and yada yada.
I feel like you can ignore a lot of stuff about yourself or your homestead, but when you're talking about kids and asking weird questions,
there's a lot of weirdos. There's a lot of weirdos on social media, and that's what I'm finding out, and that's why I don't show them as much as well either, because I mean, it is something to take seriously. I mean, I've already had a few people come up to my house before because and I don't know, like I don't know, like maybe not like for my kids, per se, but I mean, you never know who's out there.
You've never had that, at all.
Until now, since you've never said
Rue is
that.
very superstitious. If I say we've never had that, now all of a sudden we're going to.
Yeah, I'm very superstitious.
Yeah, like I'm at the point where I told like my grocery store, I told, everybody in my village, because we're only 800 people, we all know each other. And so I'm at the point where everybody knows, like if somebody's asking for me at the lumber yard, do not send them my way because everybody knows where I live here.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't had that, but we've only been doing it a year. You've been doing it 2 years, but
it's probably best not to show them that much. I agree.
Rue was worried about it toward the beginning of our, experiment
I'm still
here,
concerned about it.
And so we put up a gate, immediately, which became annoying because we had to open and close it every time, But that's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Like spying my bushes. Yeah, it was. Modding Morgan's lab early night, and someone kept asking if he showered.
Oh my gosh.
What is wrong? Okay.
I actually, I've been, wondering if people were going to say anything or not, because I always wear the same thing. I've got 2 or 3 pair of these overall, and I've got a black shirt. I always wear the same thing. So that way, if I want to do the same filming on one day, I can.
There you go.
Else, but it always looks the same. And, but I never get any comments about that at all, really.
True, it's like your look. It's like your trademark by now. Like you're always in overalls.
I agree. It's your trademark. Just leave it.
That's what I do. I actually like them. They feel nice and roomy in there, so I can eat a big meal. And
you've been well fed.
I've been well fed, and I don't have to worry about letting the pants out at all. It's pretty nice. You smell me from here.
Oh, brother. Oh man.
All right, 2 minutes for your questions, guys, and then we are going to end this stream. And
any more questions? I agree. There's a lot of weird people.
I smell you from here. Vintage Vibes calls me Bob.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All right. So tomorrow night, my premiere is at 8:00 Eastern time. And like I said, I'm presenting this in a cinematic manner. It's more like a short film. And it's to honor one of my subscribers that was usually always here in these chats. And he's the one that gave me the donation for my camera for me to go out and create. And that's exactly the words that he said. He said, Mallorie, here's the money. Go get your camera and go out and create. And he had really high hopes for this video. So I hope to see you guys all in there. It would be awesome. It was really hard physically and emotionally this week. Been It's been a rough one. So I hope to see you guys, and I don't see any more questions.
There was a couple here. No, I don't pee in the high tunnel fertilizer dispenser. Well, I do actually sometimes. Urine is a great fertilizer, guys. Number one. Number two, what are we looking forward to in the future? The kids growing up and getting out of here?
No, not at all.
No, actually, we don't want to look forward to that at all. We want to just enjoy the moment, But I'm looking forward to my fruit trees growing up to produce fruit for us. The soil being built up, all that stuff is really good. Was there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Would you change your way of living?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
We love it. I was thinking that the other day while I was cutting firewood. I was thinking, what if I had unlimited amount of money? I think I would still want to go cut my own firewood. I love what we're doing here. It's just, I might build a different house. I don't know, or get the house done a lot faster. But, I love it. I love it here, and what we're doing.
Yeah. It's an awesome lifestyle, even though it's really hard.
It is hard.
It's very rewarding, and definitely. I wouldn't change it for sure, unless like something happens to us, like physically, that we're unable to do this anymore. Like I've already said in another live stream that maybe one day I will retire from homesteading. Maybe it will come to a point, because I started. I've been doing this all my life, so maybe one day I will retire from homesteading and go on to something else in my life later, but not now.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that the kids will one day, love this so much, because I love it so much. Maybe they won't, but if they love it so much, then they'll take over, and we've got plenty of place here for them to do whatever they want as well, because we're only using a small portion of our property, really. So there's a whole lot that could be done, but
the potential is endless.
Yeah, I hope they stay here, and that we can just hand it over to them. So
that'd be awesome.
I enjoyed talking to you. It was great.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being up here. And it's been a long time coming, because I did that video I think in July where I was like, oh, these guys are cool. I saw them in a live stream, and
yeah, I've been telling Rue how much of a flake you must have been. Forget about us. And I'm like, Mallorie promised. And finally you delivered. So
there you go. There you go. I came around. I finally came around. You guys had to prove yourselves to me. No, just
well, real, I told you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Karen, Jean-Marc, Dale, Food Forest Permaculture, and Grace, and Wood Squad. Everybody in here. Morgan, You Can't Eat the Grass. You guys are awesome for being in here. Hickory Croft Farm. And Pete Little's Homestead, Jack, man, so many people. I have a hard time naming everybody, but Tina, I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one tomorrow. See ya.
Bye.